Mike pitched this to me because, according to him, I am part of Gen Z, which is wrong. I'm a millennial. But
I'm proud of it.
Tomato, I guess.
They the same?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Slight differences. Like, I actually know what a phone is. And no, I'm not talking about the latest iPhone. So I guess millennials and Gen Zers are less likely to observe cybersecurity policies and protocols than their elders. Just right off the bat, this is so fucking incorrect. It's shocking. Like, so wrong. According to some survey, young U.S. workers tend to ignore cybersecurity things like updates and whatever. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to do a little bit more shitting on CSO and, on today's Not So Critical update.
Gen Z is awesome. I think the boomers and Gen Z have some drama going on right now. As a solid Gen Xer, my beef is with the millennials. So I have very little sympathy for anything you're about to say, John.
Okay, so well, first of all,
whatever it is,
who are you again? Who are you? Forgotten generation? I don't even.
The apathetic generation, I think. Right? The Breakfast Club generation.
So great movie. Something that us millennials also enjoyed, by the way.
Cultural appropriation.
I have the unique perspective of someone who got to experience a large fleet of boomer users in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that screams boomer user or Karen user is, and this happened too many times to count, is sticky note passwords.
Mm-hmm.
And, we meme about this. Like, we make jokes like, oh, their passwords on their sticky. No, this exists like prevalently, like in all different types of industries.
Because
they don't remember their password, so they stick it on their monitor.
Yeah.
We're talking about like a simple word, because we're not going to bring up like pass phrases to them, or God forbid generating high entropy random passwords. No. It needs to be like Anthony 1990, whatever, like their son's first name and birthday, right. Maybe with a 0 for the O, just if we're really, or like an @ for an A. Maybe.
Well, because they're forced to put in a 1.
Right.
There was
exclamation point at the end.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're even writing this, it's like, okay, have I also seen millennials and Gen Zers not update their browser until Chrome is red? And it's like, hey,
oh my God,
please update your browser.
Fucking Mike is bad at this. I've seen you share your screen with them. Is it you?
And like, generally speaking, it's a Chromium browser. Generally speaking, if it's screaming red at you, it's not green or yellow anymore. It's red. It means, hey, this is a critical update. If you go and click the wrong link, like, you're going to get fucked. Yeah. And so many people just don't give a shit enough to click, and it restarts the session. Like, you don't lose anything.
The boomers,
it takes 30 seconds.
Boomers don't have this problem because they're still using Internet Explorer.
Right. They're still on IE9 or something. So
Windows XP.
I hate articles like this, because it's like, hey, it's not enough that we call the millennials lazy pieces of shit. Let's also fucking call them shit at cybersecurity. And it's like, dude, everyone's shit at cybersecurity.
Taking this very personally.
Yeah, what you're missing is how much fun it is to shit on millennials, John.
All right. Well, just like I think it's an order of operations. It's standard operating procedure for boomers to shit on you, and for you to shit on me, and for me to shit on Gen Zers. It's just how it is. It's how we work. And Peter, sadly, unfortunately, poor Peter, is stuck right there on the line. Is he a millennial? Is he a Gen Xer? He won't ever know. And, that's tough. He doesn't have a boat.
Look, I
You
don't
can
care.
have them.
Here's here's what I think, right? So I think that there are so few. I've never. Oh god, no, I don't want to say that out loud. Actually, I've never seen someone I know get hacked because they hadn't done updates. I've seen people have. Well, that's not true. I've seen like someone go and have pop-ups all over their screen because they don't run an ad blocker or have viruses because they downloaded a dodgy piece of software. But because they were running an out-of-date browser, I haven't seen it happen most of the time. So recently, I was helping a friend of mine who's a pretty smart guy update his Windows 7 machine with a BIOS from 2012. Yeah, and it kind of shocked me. But the thing is, he's never had to, and he's never been hacked. His machine's been fine for
all you know.
however many. Yeah, I mean, but all he does is play World of Warcraft pretty much, and porn, right, James? Sorry.
Wow, damn.
Yo,
No.
James thrown under the
I know
bus.
James. Oh, that's
If you
great.
want to pile on, you can join our Discord
Any
server.
James, sure. Any James that plays WoW, who's friends with Pete. Like, yeah, please
so
go ahead.
like and subscribe.
Oh, he said pawn.
And we'll mention to him in the mention to him in Discord that he got a shout out today.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. I might be in trouble. No, but seriously, it's like it doesn't have, the thing about the reason why the post-it note with the password on persists is because it's so in real life so rarely actually an issue. It's usually other things, I think, which are real risks. And I think the let's say younger generation are better at it, which is things like scams online or creeps and dickheads and trolls and that kind of thing, disinformation and things like that.
Well, Peter, that's not fair.
Okay.
Say that it's not critical. When we're in an age of laptops, it's not attached to the monitor anymore. It's attached to the laptop right there next to the mouse track, like the trackpad. Close the laptop. You got your password with you and your neat little tucked in post-it note, sticky note, and you forget your laptop at the bus station, on the bus, at a cafe, wherever the fuck. And now it's a huge incident.
Yeah, it's like leaving your PIN with your debit card.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just dumb. It's just
that's a perfect example. It's like writing your PIN on the debit card.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to do that. I thought that's what the white strip on the back was for you to write your PIN.
Right, your signature, aka your
there's I think it's interesting to think about how the different generations even just see technology. I think Gen X is in a unique spot because we grew up when the technology was being developed. So we often had some of the first desktop computers in our homes and could learn programming and start to do some of that stuff. For the older generation, the baby boomers, they didn't grow up with it. So maybe there are some power users, but they weren't oriented the same way. And then I saw a case where working with a Gen Z user on a computer, they accidentally deleted all of the desktop icons and thought, because this is how it works on a phone, that if you delete the icon, you're essentially uninstalling the program.
Wow, full circle.
Believed that by deleting everything on the desktop, they just lost everything from their computer. And I thought that, like, to me, you think like, no, obviously that's just the desktop. But if you grew up in a model where you use a phone, and if it's an application installed on the phone, that's where it lives. That's how you would think about the technology. So it's easy to look at like younger kids and think, oh, they're better with technology because they're younger, but it's not that easy. It's not that straightforward.
So this is kind of relevant, but I saw a video where this millennial girl was reacting to a Gen Zer talking about Facebook. And so it blew my mind because I'd never made the connection before. But the Gen Zer was talking about the Facebook app, specifically using the word on the Facebook app. And the millennial kind of like epiphanied that, why is this person calling it the Facebook app? It's just Facebook. And the reason is that we grew up we grew up accessing Facebook as a site.
Mhm.
Facebook is not an app to us. Facebook is a site where we go on the computer, on the browser, and we
Yeah.
access it. But
And the
to
app is
them,
just
that
another way
doesn't
to
exist.
access it.
It's just that is out of the fucking
Yeah, that's interesting.
question. It's the app on their phone, of course. And it definitely like changed a little bit of a perspective on how Gen Z were brought up in terms of technology interactions and interactions, with technology. It's like we were always on the computer. That's how we
Right,
accessed
so-
things. And before the computer, we were on phones, just landlines.
I was trying to give you guys a compliment earlier, and you reacted to the whole the sticky note. By the way, to be clear, I don't think it's a very good idea to leave your password, in plain view, stuck to your monitor or your laptop. I think it's a terrible idea, and it definitely has some real world consequences. It just doesn't happen often enough to people for them to kind of realize how bad it can be. But what I meant, my point was really that I think that Gen Z is, or the younger generation, whatever you fucking call, sorry kids for the swearing, was that they've become much better at things which are kind of immediate, tangible threats, like scammers and creepy guys and trolls and stuff like that. So I've seen a 13-year-old deal with an online creep like so competently, just like really just like fuck block, report, that's it, gone. And I was kind of worried beforehand whether this girl would be whether she was okay, and I was checking and she's like, oh no, so look at all these guys are just blocked, scammers and things like that. They seem to and misinformation and disinformation as well is another thing that it's a much bigger problem, but they get the skills to deal with it much more quickly.
Yeah.
So I was trying to say
I mean,
that there's
online
other things
awareness
that-
for them is something totally foreign to, let's say, a boomer, right?
Yeah.
Someone being nice to you on a forum for a boomer is just someone being nice. And
Yeah,
for
right?
them, they'll take every
It's-
interaction with a healthy dose of skepticism and say, what does he actually or she want? And why are they being nice?
Great example.
John,
mhm.
you talked about computer literacy being important and it's not taught. What generation do you think has the highest baseline of computer literacy?
You and me and Peter, millennials up to Gen Xers, 100%.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
you actually nailed it when you said you were there for the deployment of these at a fairly young age. So, and for you, even more so because you had to actually code, right? You had to get huge tech books of basic and assembly to understand even how these machines work. We were given a little bit nicer of a soft landing with things like Windows 95, which was my personal first home computer at home. And it really it gives you the ability to learn from the ground up, because I remember deleting icons as well. I was probably 6 or 8 when this happened, and I got really worried because I deleted all the shortcuts on the desktop and then learned that no, they are just shortcuts. And this is something
I can
that
imagine you as a 6-year-old with a beard,
panic.
just going, oh,
What have I
what's
done?
going on? What
Yeah,
have I
where
done?
did they go? Where have they gone? So like I was, before turning into the pre-teen me was file sharing. I was a little pirate, so I think our two generations definitely are probably were the best prepared, but it was also the wildest times of the internet. There's zero moderation, zero protections. We had to learn as we go and break things, and it was definitely a better time.
We also didn't face as many threats, though.
That's very true. And we had zero oversight. Like,
I love
there
it.
was no
It's
threat
amazing.
from the parents. The parents didn't feel threatened from the computer. They were like, oh, they're just on the
They
computer.
didn't
It's like,
understand it.
they didn't get it. It was just a screen
We're
where
just
they
there
could
playing
look at
Zork
pictures.
all day long.
Yeah, literally playing Unreal Tournament, Counter-Strike, Warcraft. No, not World of Warcraft, just Warcraft.
Just Warcraft.
Oh, fuck, Warcraft 2 is so good.
Is this our
Anyway,
last episode with you for the week, John?
yeah, so I got to cut out early. You guys are going to have to carry it on your own.
Feel better,
All
man.
right. Well, then
Thank
we
you.
will
Back up to speed.
all be together again whenever the next cycle starts, probably 5 or 6 days from now. We'll see
Yep.
you then, John.
The age.
Back to the
new age.
cosmos I go.
Yeah.
Bye all.